The lottery. The lottery in the United States is a total ripoff. The expected value of a lottery ticket, of every dollar you spend on the lottery in the US, is 50 cents. It's a massively unfair bet. Yet it's also massively popular. And a major source of revenue for states is state lotteries. Why is that? How can you have a situation where you have a popular unfair bet? Now, there's 4 theories for why this is. Theory 1 is people are risk-loving. They play the lottery because they're risk-loving. How can you use something I just talked about 37 seconds ago, disprove that theory? How can you disprove the fact that people are risk-loving? How can you say Americans are clearly not risk-loving? They spend they spend $2 trillion on insurance. They're clearly not risk-loving. So that theory goes out the window. Okay? The second theory is a little more subtle, which is that people are both risk-averse and risk-loving. And to see this, we go to figure 20-4 of what's called Friedman-Savage preferences. You don't need to know that. That's just what they're called. This is a preferences developed to explain riddles like this. And here those preferences look. They're preferences where they start concave and then become convex. So the way this works is, follow along with me. Imagine it's a small 50-50 gamble between W1 and W3. For that small gamble, people clearly don't want to take it. They are worse off with the gamble at point B than the utility of B star. So by the same logic we talked about before, people won't take that small gamble. Now imagine a giant gamble. Now imagine a gamble from W3 to W5. Well, for that gamble, they become risk-loving. They're more than happy to take that gamble, even though it's 50-50. It's above the utility. So now imagine a gamble from W1 to W5. If you do a giant gamble, people might end up looking risk-loving. So it could be, yeah, they're risk-averse over small things, but they love those big gambles. And that's why they play the lottery. Why is that empirically false? Why is it an empirically false description of the lottery? Because 99% of the money made in the lottery is not on Mega Millions. It's on scratch tickets, which are, you gamble for $100. Okay, so people are in the range where they're at the bottom of this function. If that theory was true, we'd see lotteries but only Mega Millions. You wouldn't see little lotteries, and you do. So that's how we can empirically prove that this theory isn't right. Okay? The third and fourth theories are, in some sense, the flip sides of each other. And the third theory is that this is entertainment. And this comes to how we go further in microeconomics 1401. Imagine that I put in utility function not just consumption, but the thrill of scratching something off, the thrill of seeing, gee, maybe I won money. And maybe it's worth $1 to you, just for a chance, even though you know you'll probably lose. Maybe in utility function is the thrill you get from that. There's nothing wrong or illegitimate about that. It's just the way you write down the utility function. So many people just gamble because they find it entertaining. And the thrill is in the utility function. The problem is there's another theory, which is that people are uninformed or just making mistakes. Which is not that they get utility enjoyment from it, they just don't understand what they're doing. They don't understand what a bad deal it is, or if they do understand, they just don't think it through properly. And they're making a mistake. Okay? Now, we can't really both these are true to some extent. Why does it matter which one is true? Well, it matters enormously. If we think the truth is one of these, it matters enormously which one it is primarily. And why is that? Because it drives what the government should do. If this is the correct view, government should support lotteries. It's a great way to make money. It's what we call voluntary taxation. If people like gambling, then why let the private sector make the money? The government can make the money by setting up a lottery. So if that's true, we should be encouraging state lotteries. If this is true, we should be discouraging them. The government is sanctioning people to make bad decisions. That's not the role of a government. It's not to set up more opportunities for people to make bad decisions. So it turns out it matters enormously for government policy which of these are right. Matters enormously which of these are right. Because basically it depends on, is this a voluntary tax or government encouraged mistakes? And we don't know. But the stakes are huge. In some low-income communities, people spend, I kid you not, up to 20% of their income on the lottery. These are huge stakes for many people's lives. This is a very important question to be thinking about.